Alright, so January ended 15 days ago. It's February 15th. Now, I did a ranking of all the January movies I've seen. It's on my main channel. Go check that one out. My main channel, Zachary Movie Chat, if you don't know. But I am going to rank the 3 TV shows that came out this month, mainly because I don't have time to give it a full review, and I really want to talk about some of these. Plus, January normally doesn't have anything, and there was quite a bit of TV shows. I did not see Ted. Ted is not one of these. The ones I've seen were Monarch: Legacy of Monsters, Percy Jackson, and Echo. So, yeah, I know 2 of those came out in 2023. They ended in January 2024, so that's why I'm including them here. Let me know down below, what is your ranking of your TV shows that you've seen? Have you seen the new Ted show? I want to know all that and more. People that might ask, where's Mr. and Mrs. Smith? I'm watching it. I haven't finished it, but it's came out in February, so it's not a January release. And with that said, we're going to get started with number 3. That is Marvel Studios' Echo. This was so disappointing for me. I was so very much looking forward to this. Like, you don't know. It's one of my most anticipated things of the year. I thought the trailer was great. Looked like they were going to a mature vibe for the MCU. The action looked great, and the action was great. The 2 big action sequences we got were phenomenal. The skating rink scene and the scene in the first episode, the one between Maya and Daredevil. It's awesome. It looks amazing. But the show's just a big waste of potential. From the very first episode, the first episode is just a catch-up of Hawkeye and where we are, which is good. More people say that you need to catch up because not everybody watches every content thing that goes on Disney+. That's a good idea. I can get behind that. But then we get to the second episode, and the only thing that happened in that episode is there's a train sequence, and she blows up a building. That's it. That's the only thing that happens in the second episode. Third episode, we get more progress. We get the skating rink sequence, that fight. It's cool. Fourth episode, you get a couple conversations with Kingpin. Fifth episode, you get the finale. It's a big waste of potential. There's so many ideas that could be explored here between Maya and her Indian heritage and the power she could get. For the first 3 episodes, the way that they were explaining the powers is just so stupid. To where in the first, the first 10 minutes of each episode, you kind of just want to skip through it. It's like, yeah, you're a woman and you got powers. We get it. You've shown this the last 2 episodes before by the time you get to episode 3. And you're just, it's not interesting. When we get to the end, I think the power stuff is explored really good. The way she uses the powers to defeat Kingpin is really good. But that's the only good thing in that final episode. Setting up to the final battle, I told myself this is going to be the best Marvel finale in a TV show, in the Marvel TV show. And it wasn't. Because you got this truck full of gunmen. How do you take them down? You have Biscuit, a side character, take a monster truck and run over their trucks. That's it. 3 seconds and that's done. Guy with a bazooka that could blow up the whole thing, he just takes a shot from the head. He holds up the freaking bazooka, looks down and says, I'm gonna shoot you. Sees the guy with a gun. Just kill me. Bam, and he's dead. The way they defeat Kingpin and his men is just so lazy. Because it's just flash, flash, flash. It's not choreographed. It's not good. It's a waste of potential. I like the way that they finally defeat Kingpin, putting her hands on him and being like, yeah, you have to face your past. That's a really cool way. Speaking of that, Kingpin is just not going to be it. I love Kingpin. I think he's great, but he got defeated 3 times now. Again, like Kang, you can't defeat your big bad over and over if you want him to be the big bad. So this show was just a tremendous waste of potential that feels like there's a good idea here somewhere, but Marvel just really didn't want to explore that idea. They didn't want to do anything with it, and it's not good. It's really not a good show. Now, to be perfectly clear, these next 2 I think are great shows. They each get an A for me. I love both of these shows. I think they were both really, really great. Not Madam Web. I'm doing a review of Madam Web after this. I got a lot to say, but Echo was a bad show. These 2 shows are really good, and so I could change them either day if we're being honest. But with that said, number 2 is Percy Jackson and the Olympians. This is a show based after the Percy Jackson series, which I grew up with. I grew up with it. I love it. I love it. Like, I love the book series. I'm rereading it now, and it's still got all the same wit and charm that brings me back to my childhood. It is phenomenal. So going into this, we have 2 movies, and they're terrible. Both of the movies are terrible. Lightning Thief's got some watchability to it, but Sea of Monsters is just an atrocity to cinema. And so going into this, I told myself, I don't know if there's a way that you can make Percy Jackson be a good show. And this show does it perfectly. It's perfect. People that say that the show's not good, the rare minute of people that say it's not good, say it's because it's boring, there's not enough action. They did not grow up with Percy Jackson. I guarantee it, because it is done perfectly. The cast here, the first episode, I was like, I don't like it. They're just little kids. I don't like it. But they're all so good. Walker Scobell is amazing. He's been in so many things that he's going to have a great future ahead of him. Not only as Percy Jackson, but as other people. He was in the Adam Project from a couple years ago. That's a great movie. And he was great in that movie. He is just a phenomenal actor. And the rest of everybody else was so good too. Everyone they cast was so good. Lance Reddick is Zeus in this. Rest in peace to Lance Reddick. But he was Zeus in this movie. And he was so good. Everybody was good in the show. And it's a show that takes the first book and does it the way, like, everything that would not fit in the book, anything that'd be weird in a book, or anything that even is weird, shown on screen is done so perfectly. And so everything that doesn't fit in the book, on screen, they find a way to make it fit in the show. It's not like they're completely improvising everything. It's loyal to it, but it adjusts it, and it makes it adapt to the screen better. And in some ways, it's better. The action sequences, when we have them, are great. The CGI and the monsters and all that we see, they are hands down perfect. They look perfect. As a Percy Jackson fan, this show is perfect to me. I absolutely love that they finally made a respectful show about Percy Jackson, and it works in every little detail. I cannot wait for season 2. I love the show. But number 1 is Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. I never was a MonsterVerse fan. For the longest time, I wasn't a fan of the MonsterVerse. And I don't know why. I'm a fan now because I've rewatched a lot of them. The only one I haven't rewatched is King of the Monsters before Godzilla x Kong comes out next month. But I just wasn't a fan because it was always too goofy. And this show kind of fixes a lot of the issues I have with that. Not only does it go for a much more serious tone, but going back and rewatching them and watching this makes me realize that the MonsterVerse is one of the best cinematic universes out there. It's wholeheartedly agreed. Because, number 1, they don't do so much content that it gets lost in the crowd and you're just like, oh, we get another content. Oh, we get more stuff. And it makes sense. Every single thing merges perfectly. It fits in perfectly to where, even with this show that's a prequel set right after Godzilla 2014, but right before Godzilla King of the Monsters and Godzilla vs. Kong, you watch those movies and you're like, yeah, Monarch is following this up very well. It's very well, and it does it very great. Like, it fits perfectly in the it fits seamlessly into the cinematic universe. There, I spit it out. And it makes the whole universe better by doing a prequel. Not only that, but having a show with 10 episodes, you can explore characters much better. To where, in the movies, you want to have your dose of monster action, but you also want to explore the characters, and so majority of those movies are like 2.5 hours long. So in 2.5 hours long, you have to cut a lot of the monster action that we really go to those movies to see, just so you can get character development. And here, 10 40-minute episodes, that goes around to like 7 hours, probably. I'm not going to do the math. But it goes around to about 7 hours, so you got 7 hours to explore the characters. You can give them each their own individual episode to explore who they are and what they do and their character motivations. And then you can also spend some of that time with monster action. There's scenes in this where randomly you go to the past, which is really interesting, and you see how Monarch was formed, and it makes sense. There's a scene with Apex Predators, or just like Apex, and one person's there, and for that episode I was kind of like, this is kind of weird, I don't much like that. But when you get to the end, you're like, wait, I watched Godzilla vs. Kong, that's the same Apex. Because it fits seamlessly into the universe while also pacing it very well. And for 10 episodes, I think this is one of the best things the MonsterVerse does, and overall makes the franchise better. It's a show that makes the franchise make more sense. And I loved it for that. I thought it was great. Some episodes don't hit. First 2 episodes really don't hit. There was an episode where we finally learned more about, I forget her name. She's one of the 8, I forget her name. She's the girl that's not part of the family. But when we explore past, it's not all that interesting. But as a show, it makes a franchise better, and it works so very well that I, all around, really, really loved this show, and I think it really works. That's why it's my favorite show of January of 2024. Let me know, what is your ranking? I'm going to film my review for Madame Web. I didn't hate the movie, but I don't think it was good. You know when I said that I was going to do a worst movie ever for Spy Kids? That's still coming, but I'm about to film a worst movie ever for Madame Web. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm filming a worst movie ever. But yeah, let me know down below what is your ranking of the TV shows that released in January of 2024. And with that said, thank you guys for clicking on this video. Subscribe to the Nerd Army. Peace out.